We'll open the meeting. We do already have 2 executive sessions on the agenda. Does anybody have any need to add another? And I do, no. I do need to amend the agenda to add the RHR audit, RHR letter, and planning commission vacancy. Any other items that anybody needs to add? to the
Those are
agenda?
under new business or
New business.
New business. Make a motion to accept the agenda as proposed.
All in favor say aye.
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 All right, anything on the minutes of March 5th, Select Board and Liquor Board? I saw nothing of note.
Nope, I didn't.
Mark, anything?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, Town Manager's report?
So I attended Cedar's Mixer on March 11th, and I made contact in person with Lyle Jepson about our idea for Landlord Day.
Okay.
And he has set me up with resources. I haven't heard from Mary Cohen, but I did hear from a gentleman that has done something similar in Rutland. I just have to have a communication with the gentleman. I guess he's set up something similar before in Rutland, so I want to tap his brain so that we're not
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel. We had a staff meeting on March 13th, and it was amazing because I think almost all the staff was here.
Awesome.
So, they very much enjoyed the pizza and salad, and we had really good conversation, about what's happening within departments, and then also we talked about, some personnel changes that in the personnel policy that might actually make it easier on bookkeeping and also make employees happier. So I'm gonna read through the entire personnel policy, and a couple of people have come to me with other ideas. So I'm gonna be bringing them to you shortly.
Great.
But it was really good to hear from everybody. We actually did interviews. I didn't, but Tom, Alicia sat in on one. Pat and Helen have done interviews and have narrowed down the candidates to fill the assistant clerk treasurer position. And we do have the bookkeeping position posted until April 1st. So we are getting resumes in for that. I filed all the necessary paperwork for the appointments to committees and community organizations from all of the different RRPC and everything that sent them to me. Paving bids have gone out. These are due March 27th. I've been processing excess weight permits. Water shutoffs, we had 7 shut off yesterday. 1 remains shut off as of right now out of the 7.
Oh, the 6 came in and paid after they got
6
shut
paid.
off?
Yep, or made arrangements.
Made arrangements.
Yep. Belden's is gonna restart work April 1st, weather dependent. I met with them today.
Cool.
They're hoping by the first part of June, they'll be shifting to the second half of the bridge. And we will have some road closures. They're gonna let me know ahead of time so that we can notify everybody through our meetings. And, there will be some signs being moved to make some people happy. Or
Okay.
happier.
Okay.
I went to the Rutland Regional Planning Commission Board of Commissioners last night for the first time, and they are highly encouraging select board members to attend the Regional Select Board Meetup April 9th in Castleton. The information's in your packets on how you can sign up for that.
They're gonna do it quarterly?
They're going to try to,
All right, because I'm gonna try to make this one, but it's,
yeah.
yeah.
But they are gonna try to do them on an ongoing basis because the last time people went, they had a lot of positive feedback from it.
Good.
I think this one is focusing on Act 181.
Yep.
It says it in your packets. And I think that's what I have. The rec director, you saw her report. She's going great guns on a bunch of different things. But I would mark your calendars if you can for May 3rd for a big event that's going to be held at the rec.
Cool.
And what date was that select board meetup?
April 9th. And it's in Castleton at their new rec department, which used to be their Castleton Village School.
Oh,
They turned it into a recreation facility. And it's at 5:30 p.m.
recommend anybody go that wants to. Dan and I went, we really liked it.
Good, yeah, I'm gonna try to get there.
You said that was a 5:30 start?
5:30 start, they're gonna be going over Act 181 and shared services. So if, you know, we have something that another town needs and they have something we need, we can share services instead of us each going and buying another expensive piece of equipment, kind of thing.
We talked about that at great length in the last meeting.
Yep, so the agenda is 5:30, doors are opening, then introductions. They're gonna talk about municipal shared services and then Act 181 updates. And it is free, but they need you to register to plan for space.
Okay.
And I will say, if people wanna sign their kids up for summer camp, they should do it sooner rather than later. I believe 3 weeks are already sold out,
All right, good.
and it's 7 weeks this year.
Cool. Any questions for Ann? No? No one? Okay. Select board member remarks.
I've only got one thing, that I'm glad to see we finally got an audit report.
Yes, that,
It's long,
waited
long
for a while.
overdue. I think next year that needs, or next year needs to go out to bid again.
okay.
I'm certainly not happy. 2 years in a row, so to me, it's unacceptable
Yep,
not to have a report this soon.
okay.
That's all I gotta say about that.
All right, yeah, 'cause it's on our agenda, so we could talk about it more later.
Oh, okay.
Anything?
I'm good.
Mark, any?
Just One comment,
Yep.
It was brought to my attention by one of the policemen that some of the policemen have been paying for their own cruisers to get washed. Ann, did you hear that?
I found out this weekend about it, and I am trying to think of an alternate, and I'm coming up with ideas for them.
Don't they all have their own credit cards to, or don't they have town credit cards for gas so that they could
They
also
have
use
one
for?
card for that, and I think they only have a gas card, but I am not 100%
Oh.
sure.
The new wash place in Rutland, you can buy a thing for all month, unlimited washes.
$40 a month.
Yeah,
per vehicle.
that's something that, I mean.
That might be
so
worth
they
it
gotta
for
run to
the
Rutland to
police
wash the car,
vehicles.
but they could do it once a week with no problem.
Right.
I
Not
noticed
cost
that.
us a lot of money, so I would
Right.
suggest you go ahead and get for
We have-
every car.
I can get one for every car, I don't mind, if that's what the board
So,
wants.
so you should
Also,
do.
what's the deal with,
My only suggestion was gonna be, is that one in Brandon, can that go on the same charge card they use on gas?
Don't know. I
I would
think it
have
does.
to, I would have to check, it probably can, because I think it's that gas station's gas card, so it should be able to.
I think it does.
I was wondering if maybe they could do it every couple weeks up there or
Yeah.
something. I don't know if we need to do unlimited. It's more this time of year they get dirty a lot, so.
sure,
I think if Ann could figure out what the best mode is, it'd be a good idea for those guys, so they have to pay for it.
Well, and see if you can buy a membership.
Yeah, or
like
whatever.
That one
make
in
it-
Brandon,
Either one, yeah.
you know. See what they've got, because that's closer than Rutland, because
Yeah, I agree.
people have made negative comments about, or not, people have noticed when the
When the cars in
cars are
Brandon.
dirty.
Yeah, and when they're dirty. Oh,
So-
yeah. So it's,
I think it's, yeah,
and they're dirty in the summertime too. They go on the
Sure.
back roads. and
oh,
it
they
looks
get,
like crap.
no, they get dirty, but.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know one officer was very upset because he spent his own money, got the cruiser all cleaned, and then somebody took it for a joyride on a back road.
aw. Yep, that'll do it.
Yep.
Are they ever able to use like where the fire department washes all their vehicles? And
they do.
doesn't the highway crew wash all their own vehicles right there? Are they?
Stefan, I've seen Stefan.
Stefan does it at the
Stefan
firehouse.
washing the firehouse more
Quite
than
often.
once. What
Yeah,
I've seen do
I think that can be hard too, when they have all the gear on with the radios and the
Yeah,
guns.
it's tough.
I think it might be better
He
to.
seems to be able to
Maybe
do it.
Better go through a car wash, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
I was
definitely
just
look
thinking
into
for a
that.
quick rinse. I was just thinking of that
Yeah.
for that specific situation where it had already gone through the car wash and got dusty from dirt road. So, okay. Any other comments from the select board? Any public comments?
No.
Just some institutional knowledge for you and for Ann. I noted that you're issuing overweight permits for town roads for trucks. Okay, a little history on what happened on Whipple Hollow Road a few years back. You may or may not be aware of that. The town of Proctor, the town of West Rutland had to replace a bridge
Yeah.
in West Rutland at the railroad crossing. And they blamed the Amia trucks for wrecking that bridge. So, we were able to convene a meeting, and I was not happy that they were blaming Amia, knowing the circumstances around that bridge. So we convened a meeting, and we met at Amia between Mike Ramsey, this is bringing up history, right?
Yeah.
Mary Ann Goulet, who was the only person still there, and Brenda, of all people, were at that meeting, and myself. And one of the comments that came out, and I had done a little bit of research, that the bridge over those near those railroad tracks is rated 16,000 pounds. Boom. So we allow 24,000-pound trucks to go out that road, but when you come to that bridge, they can't legally cross the bridge.
Oh, interesting.
So then I also found out by conversing with the police chief in Pittsford that many of the dump trucks that come out of Hogback and go into West Rutland are between 60 and 70,000 pounds.
Wow.
And so they get through Pittsford on a permit. I'm not sure what's happening in West Rutland, but they're going over a 19,000-pound bridge. And granted, there are tractor trailers that do cross that bridge going to Amia. Very few loaded ones. I think you could check my testimony out with the police chief. Very few loaded, but some unloaded ones. But they're 30,000 pounds, 26 to 30,000 pounds. So it was kind of a general person's agreement between the three town managers that they would not issue any more permits for Whipple Hollow Road overweight.
So ours already come with a statement on them that they're not allowed on Whipple Hollow.
They're not great. I just want to make sure that that's publicly known.
So there
because-
was, when I was being trained by Linda,
Yep.
she had this piece of paper, and I still have it, and I use it on every single one of them, that says, please note, and Whipple Hollow is one of the two roads that's on there.
Apparently, our truck drivers that are driving for some of the people leaving Hogback can't read either. Everyone don't know. I mean, they have to go through the 16,000 pounds, or the 25,000 pound signs at the entrance to Amia. And I'm curious as to whether the town of Pittsford should come in line with the town of West Rutland and make that a 16,000 pound road for over-the-road travel. Not for deliveries, you have to allow deliveries on that road. That's just and that was a topic that came up in that meeting. Should we reduce the weights on the Whipple Hollow Road all the way from Amia to Route 4A in West Rutland to protect that bridge and protect your own local roads?
That's our roads too
Yeah.
as well.
So that's just a comment. I'd be happy to work with anybody on that to try to make that happen. So that's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
That's enough. Yep,
All right, well, thanks.
there you go.
Thank you. Okay, old business, we just had one item, the Humane Society's coin drop, and it looks like they did say they would
Yep.
abide by all the
Abide by
safety,
all the rules and
It
regulations.
is, yeah, it is a new executive director, and I included her email in the
Yeah.
packet.
So after reading their response, I'll make a motion to allow it.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business, zoning administrator alternate.
This would be Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Folks, good evening. It's re-up season apparently, and we have had some change in management, so I'd like to, at this time, touch base on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, that is long-standing in every town that I've worked with. And it is the fact that I'm a licensed real estate broker and still operate a small real estate office. So with that in mind, I have the occasion, and it's not frequent, to somehow or sometimes get involved in a property in a town that I'm also an administrator for. And so to avoid a conflict of interest, there is two understandings that I've always established with the town, and this started with Haverstock. And actually when I went to Brandon, I established the same following relationship with Brandon, with Atherton. And that is that at the time when I started this, I was working real estate full-time, and I'm kind of, I'm the king of part-time here, but I've got enough activities to keep me busy for 60 hours a week. And real estate isn't my full-time activity anymore. But on occasion, I will have a property owner want me to represent them as a seller's broker usually. And what would happen then with a buyer that comes into the town of Pittsford wanting to do something with a property, I feel that it's a clear violation to try to represent my client, the real estate seller, and issue permits for the real estate buyer. The solution, which is pretty widespread and pretty common, is that there's an alternate zoning administrator to address zoning-related conflicts of interest and step in. And historically, when there's a town with a town manager, that's the person who catches the alternate position. But it can be anybody who's maybe qualified or that you wish to appoint as an alternate zoning administrator. This also follows and falls into use when I might not be available or indisposed or otherwise. So an alternate zoning administrator is what I'm recommending that Pittsford adopt since it's appointment season. And I've talked with Ann about it. You can ask her if she's up to the task or if somebody else wants to take it on.
There you go.
Well, yeah, how do you feel about that, Ann?
I'm gonna be working with planning commission, so I plan on reading all of the zoning regulations. Honestly, it's not something I know a lot about yet. I'm sure in the next month I'm gonna be a whole lot more knowledgeable on it.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like it's gonna be an everyday occurrence, so.
Oh, well, in regards to that, in the last X number of years that I've worked in Pittsford, I've only needed it once.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I think I've been here going on, I don't know.
Long time.
I'm up for a re-up, so 9 or 10 years. And I've only used it in Pittsford once. It's not a frequent activity. And all of my real estate literature clearly discloses in advance that if we're talking about a town that I also represent as a panel member or a town official, that this has to be addressed early and out, so.
Okay.
Alicia, a question?
Yes.
Should we approach the zoning board about this? There may be somebody on there that way Ann won't have to shoulder another burden.
They're meeting,
Yeah.
the ZBA is
Or
meeting,
planning commissioner.
well, planning commission meets next Thursday and ZBA meets April 7th, so we can bring it to both of them and then put it on one of our future agendas.
The other
So-
thing, we don't know who we're hiring for assistant town clerk. If that person had experience in it, that's another person. So I think we should
Look into it.
look into this a little more before we
Sure.
make this decision.
All right, yeah, thank you, Jeff, though, for
Sounds
bringing
good.
that to our attention, and we'll,
Yep.
yeah, continue to discuss it.
Thank you.
And with that, we have a zoning board of adjustment vacancy.
Yeah, we've had it for quite a while and Jeff can,
Okay, Jeff?
Oh, okay. So here is, it's not a conflict of an interest, but it is an interesting fact that in a small town, you run into things like this. I first met Jim McCoyle and his family because they bought my old real estate office down there on Route 7. And their son, Cameron LaQuayle, who you guys probably know, every time you go to the post office, you go by the bulletin board that Cameron built as an Eagle Scout project. And so the LaQuayle family's been in town a long time. So years ago, they bought the property from me, and Cameron's moved his equipment there. It's mostly mobile equipment. And he wants to, he got a permit to, the property is fully permitted as is now. He got a permit to put up a fence, the signs are all permanent, and he's got a permit to demo the old 1920-something house that used to be my office. There's existing permits now for the self-storage activity and office activity, and And so, while we were talking about the LaCoyo's plans to knock down the old house and build a shop and expand his business, I suggested to him that he might be a great candidate for the vacancy for the zoning board, which is definitely in need of another person.
Okay.
So he was willing to come tonight to talk with you folks about it. Now, I've run it by the zoning board only by email, but the zoning board is hearing his application later this early in April. And so the zoning board will put it on the agenda to talk about that as well.
Okay. All right.
So ask Jim why he's such a glutton for punishment.
Why are you such a glutton for punishment?
I'm not sure, but Jeff has convinced me that this should be a good opportunity to help my fellow townspeople, so.
Okay.
You know, most of you guys, like I said, know me forever. I've been in this town. My kids are Eagle Scouts, you know, come through this town. We've lived in the same house. I've managed the same business for 26 years. You know, and I guess, you know, at this point in my life, if I can, you know, give an extra hand to help out zoning, you know, because there's a vacancy, I'm willing to figure it out. I don't know much about it right now, but I can learn.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you guys would like me as a town to help out, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'll make it. Now, do we appoint this position, or do they appoint?
Well, no,
We-
we appoint.
Point of order, hold
We
on.
appoint, yeah, so why, I guess my question is, why are they meeting on him if
Yeah.
we're gonna appoint him?
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Jim,
I'll second the motion.
okay,
Jeff, go ahead.
So if I can, Dave,
okay,
the process it's just not formal. You certainly are within your authority to do that.
Yeah, we are.
Typically, the planning commission or the panel gets to talk with him first and then recommends the appointment. But it's not a formal process, and if he's, I'm sure I would say that
we'll put him on.
the vacancy
No,
being
No,
filled
just
would be
was
welcomed.
letting him have his say.
Yep.
Okay. Any
All right.
further discussion, Mark?
No, I think Jim would be a great addition to the board.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wow.
Congratulations.
All right.
Or sympathy,
Or-
whichever
yeah, or
way you want to look at it, so, yeah.
But thank you.
Welcome
Appreciate you
aboard.
stepping
How
up.
about welcome aboard?
No, I do appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll give it a shot, so.
All right.
It's a good job.
Okay, enhanced energy plan.
I believe we need to set
Hearing dates,
hearing
Date on
dates.
that.
yes.
Okay.
Is it 2 hearings?
It has to be 2 hearings.
Within a certain amount of, like, I forget what the parameters are.
I honestly am not sure.
That's okay. So would we run this concurrent with the select board meeting?
Normally we do. You-
Okay,
Fire,
folks,
Yes, go ahead.
can I add some clarity here?
Sure
Maybe,
can.
The planning commission hasn't had a public hearing yet, so it has to do that first.
No,
And then, if
I
the
don't
public
think so.
hearing, if the result of the public hearing by the planning commission is that there's no substantial changes, then the planning commission can vote to forward it to the select board. The select board can't have the hearing before the planning commission hearing, this is statutory. So within 150 days of the planning commission sending it to the select board, you schedule the hearing. So it's a little premature for you to set a date, I think,
Well,
because
The planning
who
commission,
knows?
so the last planning commission meeting, they said that they were gonna send this to the board so that the board could set the hearing date so that this could continue. And when I talked to Rick Conway today, that was what we discussed as well.
Well, I'm not sure which hearing date he's referring to, but I just know, I know the way it's adopted.
no,
And so,
and that's fine if that's
so-
true. I just don't think they see, it doesn't, I think the point is that they don't seem to know that. They seem to think it's now.
It's the select board's turn to set
Here.
the hearing dates that the planning commission needs to move forward with the enhanced energy plan.
there's
we-
a ton of paperwork involved, which I will handle.
So we have
Okay.
to set the dates for them?
There's
Is
timelines. There's
that what you're
timelines.
saying?
That-
We
that-
set the
that's-
date for the planning commission?
So the first thing is that we need to send copies of the proposed changes to the town plan to all our abutting townships and warn it in a public meeting 30 days in advance of the hearing. And then, after the planning commission hearing, if there's no significant changes, the planning commission at that hearing can vote to forward it to the select board, and the select board would need.
Jeff, are you
50
talking
days.
about zoning plans? Cause this isn't zoning, this is the
No,
brand new
I'm talking about
enhanced.
town plans.
This
I'm
isn't
talking
it, we're
about-
not talking town plan, we're talking enhanced energy plan.
Okay, well, that is part of your town plan, because you have to amend that as well.
It's an addition to the town.
It's an
plan.
addition
not-
to the town plan.
I believe this was sent to us for us to review,
And that, yeah.
let the board, let the planning commission know if we thought it was in order to proceed. That's what I thought.
So if you let me know if it's in order to proceed or not, I can let the planning commission know next Thursday.
Yeah,
to
no,
set
this is
their
like a year and a
meetings.
half behind schedule, so I think we
Yeah.
should proceed. Forthwith.
So I,
Well,
Well,
don't think the way
and
this
I,
is
Mark,
written should proceed.
I know what you're thinking, Mark, but once it comes, once the hearings are done, then we can decide to change stuff on it if we feel it's necessary. So we still have the option to change things. At least we get it moving.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I think I'm beating a dead horse, because I know I've had a chat with Alicia on this and some other members maybe, is that you have two grants. One is $4,000 for the enhanced energy plan, town plan. The other is $10,000 to update the
Zoning.
the zoning regulations that comply with state statute 47 and 181, not to mention a whole host of other things that we've talked about on and off for the last X number of years. That grant expires December 31st of this year. The adoption process is 60 days. So essentially, if they don't have a draft ready to start warning by October, you're not going to be able to adopt by 12/31/25.
Which is what, yes, we need to get this done
The
now.
town have to, not only does the town lose the money, it's gonna get negative marks on any other future applications for
Yep.
grants. So that's the priority in my humble opinion.
Yeah, okay.
we are aware, but this all has to go systematically. I talked to Devin Neary and we have to finish the enhanced energy plan. At the same time, we're starting both the zoning and subdivision bylaws that need to be done. And we have a timeline to be able to complete it all by December 31st that I'm bringing to the planning commission next Thursday with Logan Solomon from RRPC. Because if not, we have to come up with matching funds. If we get it all done, approved and ready by December 31st, the grant is fully taking over for the bylaw
From my
modernization.
understanding on the enhanced energy plan, that grant doesn't expire until 2026. I might be missing
The
something.
enhanced energy plan? I thought it was the end of December.
No, so you're thinking the town plan, we only have until February 6th, 2026 for our town plan to be finalized. In order for us to get the grant money completely funded as a grant instead of having to come up with matching funds, we have to have everything completed by December 31st. I've read through them this week to make sure I was right on my timelines.
Well, so do we, all right, well, so then we need to send this, if that's how the statute's written, we'll send this, tell the planning commission that,
To set the meetings.
set the meeting dates
The
and
two
get
hearings.
this going and know that it's time sensitive. Do we need a vote to do that, or is this just we're here just to peruse it and,
I'm gonna let them know that you're going to wait until public hearings to make all of your comments as well. And please schedule the 2 public hearings.
Otherwise, if we make
Yeah.
comments and they gotta go and change stuff, then there's we
Back
might
and
as well,
forth.
if we're gonna make changes, we do it all at once for efficiency.
no, that's fine. Okay,
Because we are on, beyond a tight timeline.
yeah, we are.
It's gonna be a rough few months here to
Yeah,
get everything done that needs to be done.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Is anybody-
Thank you, folks.
Okay. Town meeting ideas to grow attendance. I should have brought the old, the survey we did like pre-COVID. Remember the survey we sent,
yeah, I
we
remember
put out
that
at town
one.
meeting?
Yep.
But you had asked me to put it back on the agenda.
No, I know.
I
'cause
still like the pie social idea, or
I do too.
Helen also mentioned a potluck.
I like the potluck idea too. Somebody was,
Years ago,
oh, it
they
was
used to
John
do
Haverstock. He was afraid of liability if somebody got sick.
Yeah,
What a lawyer.
yeah.
I just, I'm looking at what other towns have done. One town does a pie social every year for their town.
Dessert type thing or
Meeting.
something, yeah.
Some of them now do informational meetings instead, and they give everyone who walks in the door $100 of Monopoly money and has the different departments lined up on a table, and how would you disperse the $100? And it starts conversations. Well, if you put all of your money into rec, who's going to administer that? Who's going to pay for that? Who's
Yeah.
going to maintain it? So it opens up conversations for people when they start trying to figure out how they would spend their $100 among town
I know, I like that idea.
departments. Maybe we do two things. Maybe we have an informational day and then we have town meeting. And, do the informational day during our budget process in like the beginning or middle, so that we can get community input and say, this is what we're looking at. How does everybody feel about X, Y, Z? And if people say, well, we don't want our roads paved, do you realize that in 5 years, our roads are gonna look
Like
Like
A
Montpelier.
lot of the rest of Vermont.
Right.
And then we
you know,
got
and
all
it would open up the discussion on why, why is our paving $300,000? Well, $300,000 is getting, so that's not gonna be enough. And it's due to costs
Yeah.
and everything, and we look at however many miles of road and how much 300,000 gets us in a year, and it opens up the conversation back and forth with the public, so they're not,
Yeah, no, I like that.
it gives them information.
You do informational graphs. I love a good graph.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I mean, some of it can be done in the newsletter too, but I think in person and having that exchange is also important.
Yeah. I like the idea of having childcare too, like having a couple responsible adults who'd be willing to take kids down, keep them maybe in the cafeteria.
Find some teenagers that aren't quite voting age yet.
Okay. I'm gonna look into the childcare piece, like ask around to see who we could find to do that. Like maybe like a organization too.
Organization,
Or just teenagers, but
we have some counselors that are doing summer camp, maybe they're available on the night of town meeting, and even
Right.
if we ended up having to pay them for the 2 hours, they're already on our payroll,
that's a good
As-
idea.
Yeah.
camp
Good idea.
counselors, so, yeah, we're spending a few bucks, but it's helping
Well worth it.
Well, they've
grow.
already done background check, everything is
Well, yeah,
done,
it's
so we
done. Yeah, worry
don't
about
have to
it.
worry
And a
about
lot
it.
of them live
Yeah.
right here in the community, so it's
That's
not
true.
like we're asking them to leave their town to go do this.
That's a really good idea. All right. Should we, well, so it's an ongoing conversation. When do you think would be a good date for us to really start nailing down the details? How many months before town meeting do you think's a good idea?
Why don't we start talking about it in August or so, because then we can put it on calendars. If we wanna have a discussion day in
Yep.
October or November before we get into the holidays, for people to have an informational session, and then we can hash out what we want for a town meeting after that informational
Try
session.
one early and see what kind of,
See
Kind of,
whether we get 2 or 20.
yeah,
Right.
what kind of reaction
Yeah.
you get from it.
Yeah,
Might
then
be,
go from that one
Yeah.
to see what we get for,
right, and
No.
see if we wanna change town meeting to be a Saturday with pie, or if we wanna keep it that Monday night
Yeah.
as normal,
Monday night
or,
would buy.
well, Monday night with pie,
yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
I think it's worth investigating.
as long as there's ice cream with it,
My
We'll make
father-in-law
sure,
likes
I'll write that
cheddar cheese.
down. All right, cool. To be continued. Police cruiser and body cameras.
So I just want to put this on your radar, that this is becoming a necessity between our technology issues within the police department with their servers, and the fact that we have 7 police officers now using 2 computers.
Oh.
And their body cameras are failing. I
Oh,
was
okay.
hoping to have a finalized quote from the company that we're going to have to go with, because they're going to be willing to upload all of our stuff that's already in there into the cloud, so we're feeling like we don't really have much of an option on who we're using. They were supposed to get Bill and I an updated quote, and as of 6 o'clock tonight, we had not received it yet. So this will have to be put on a future one, but hold on to your hats.
That's a huge liability though.
It is a huge liability. It is gonna be a huge expense, and it will be divided over 5 years.
Are there any grants for that, you think?
So the company that we're going with, they're actually searching for grants for us.
Oh.
Because Bill has told them straight up, like, you're asking for a large sum of our budget,
Yeah.
you know, even our yearly budget, even breaking it out over the 5 years. He's like, that's a large part of the PD budget.
Yeah.
And we don't have that kind of extra money just hanging around.
If something
So-
happens,
I know, that's the
you
thing.
need a lot more money than that.
Oh, and I'm aware, but we are trying to get grants for it. We haven't heard back from the gentleman. I'm hoping by the time we meet again in 2 weeks, I'll have that finalized number from him. But he's been going back and forth with Silloway too, to make sure that everything's gonna work the way it needs to moving forward, so we're not taking one step forward, 2 steps back with the technology and the needs of the PD.
So is that supposed to say police computer, not police cruiser?
No, so we need cruiser and body cameras. So we need cruiser
Oh,
cams.
cruiser cameras.
Yes, cruiser
All right,
cameras,
I was gonna
body
say, I don't
cameras.
think we need another police cruiser.
No, sorry, it was,
Well, it's the way it's worded.
yeah, I'm sorry, I should have said cruiser cameras and body cameras. They're both needed. Cruiser cameras for the 3 cruisers, and then body cameras for each one of our
Okay,
police
all right.
officers. I'm sorry for the confusion.
No, that's, yep.
You have a comment?
Yeah, it's gonna be required sooner,
Yeah.
fairly soon, by the Department of Public Safety.
Yeah.
They're gonna
That's
require
a huge
any-
liability.
Or either that or the Criminal Justice Council.
And we have body cameras right now, they're just outdated and a couple of them are starting to fail, so before they really start to fail, we wanna get ahead of it. I'm just wanting to prepare you that it's gonna be a sizable sum of money.
All right,
And like I said, I was hoping to have the pricing, but I don't quite yet.
that's okay. Okay. All right.
We're gonna need them for this next.
And we are gonna need it for the next item on the agenda, which is public nudity discussion with a possible ordinance. So, there's been an ongoing nudity issue in town.
We do?
Yes.
It's her neighborhood.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not me, though. Listen, for the record, not me. And it's not my road.
Well, apparently that's not the only nudist, so.
Oh, not the only one?
No, I was filled in when I went somewhere in town that we actually have like 2.
Oh my gosh.
So,
It's a pandemic.
2 that we're aware of.
Oh Lord.
I am recommending, so I will preface this that I graduated from Brattleboro when Brattleboro was having
So
massive.
you've seen plenty of naked people running around.
Oh
Yeah, so I went to Brattleboro's website, pulled off, and you'll see it on page 13.4
Yep.
and 13.5 of their ordinances. They actually have a very well-written, public nudity ordinance, and where it's prohibited, where you can be nude if you'd like, and that kind of thing. I wanted to get board's feelings before I went and rewrote one of these for the town of Pittsford, because some of this, we don't have, we don't have
Nightclubs?
some of the nightclubs, and cabarets, as far as I know, in town. Yet, yes, yet.
Yeah. Sounds like
but-
we're headed that way.
If the feeling is that we should probably adopt one of these, I have no problem rewording this one enough to get it so that it would conform more to Pittsford than the Brattleboro ordinance, and it does come with fines as well. And it does, break out the fact if you're nursing a child versus actually,
Or modeling in an art class.
yes.
So Ann?
Yes.
What you're suggesting is the proposed ordinance that you included in our packet, is that correct?
No, I am proposing that I write one
writes
that's
one.
similar to it that will be the town of Pittsford, because I don't believe we need to have cabarets. And I don't even know what a bottle club is.
Me neither.
So, just
You do.
conform it.
You know what a bottle clip is. Bring your own booze.
So yeah, if we can make it more Pittsford.
Make it more
Yeah.
Pittsford, put
Specific.
Pittsford
Yeah.
specific, and then I can bring it to the next meeting so that we can put it back on the agenda so that if anybody has any public comment, they
Specifically have
would,
the rec area,
have a
design,
time.
all stuff like that, you wanna have it,
yeah, and it does say recreation.
okay.
Including streets, sidewalks, parks, parking lots, and business and commercial establishments, both profit and not-for-profit, and whether open to the public at large or where entrance is limited by a cover charge or membership requirement. It has bottle clubs, hotels, motels, restaurants, nightclubs, country clubs, cabarets, and meeting facilities utilized by any religious, social, fraternal, or similar organization. And then it has,
Alright,
so, and it says public nudity is prohibited in public areas on private land out of view of the public. The town has no legitimate interest, and citizens in various stages of dress or undress should be left alone if they are out of the view of the public. So if you're doing it, I told somebody if I wanted to dance with my horses, nobody can see me, but if I was dancing on the front pond, you could definitely see me and you would not want to see me. So, you know, that kind of thing.
Right,
no.
because
Yeah.
I don't know about the
that
second.
sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
about the second situation, but the first situation, it's being done in view of the street.
Oh, the other one was in view of, preschoolers that were doing
Oh,
a class
nice.
Oh,
at a library.
Okay, yeah.
Well, let's get it rewritten the way we want it.
Yep.
Let's go
Yep,
for it.
let's go
I
from
just wanted to
there.
make sure that you were on board before I
Yeah.
took the time to write it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I know, I hate, we don't need to add to our laws per se, but this was,
No, but
been
this-
brought up as an issue
Yeah.
continuously, so we need to have it.
It was the first I had heard of it when I saw the article, so, I urge people, if they have a public concern like that, to please get a hold of me, and I'm more
Yep.
than willing to listen. I can't always act right away, but I
Right.
would like to know
Yeah,
about
this
things in
issue,
town.
yeah, this issue was brought up before.
Yeah, it's been going on for years.
Yes, so you're not getting sidetracked with it. It's
Yep, okay.
been
All
an
right.
issue.
All right, good. We'll keep moving on that
I
then.
will put the ordinance, and I'm gonna just put that, public comment is welcome, or public
Sure.
comment / public nudity ordinance on the next agenda, so that
Yep.
people have a chance to voice their opinions if they
Yep.
will.
Sounds good. Okay. All right, covered bridge week in August. My favorite topic on the agenda. So
talk on it.
so Governor Scott, he did proclaim August 2nd through the 9th as Vermont Covered Bridge Week. And I'm a member of the Vermont Covered Bridge Society. And so as part of the press release, and then Beth Brown, who is, I guess she's the president of the Covered Bridge Society, let me know that what they're doing is there's going to be banners that'll be available to the towns to put on their covered bridges for that week.
We have to order them ahead of time, so.
Well, right,
We have to
so-
vote on them tonight if we want them, so that they can.
Yeah, yep.
How much?
So, they're 10 by 2 for $80. I know, did you not read your packet?
Not the covered bridge, I read the nudity part.
10 foot by 2 foot, they're $80 each.
So,
And they're hoping that they can get a price break.
But it
if
is-
enough
yeah.
If enough towns
we got
order
what,
them.
1, 2, 3,
Three,
Four.
three bridges,
Four.
4 bridges.
4 if you include Hammond.
yeah,
Yep.
it
We got
said that
4.
well, and I
One time we
don't,
had 5.
and it does say that the Covered Bridge Society is defraying cost and paying for design and delivery. Is that part of the $80? Actually, I didn't even think to ask that. Do you know?
So there was another email and I tried searching for it and I don't know what happened to it because I'm having search function issues between mine and Dave's emails and trying
Oh.
to search them. There was an email that went out asking if the towns that had covered bridges wanted to buy them, and it was something about depending on the number of towns that do order these signs and the number of signs ordered, it could end up being less than $80. It won't be more than $80.
I see.
My
Okay. I think it would be awesome. Also, August 2nd is also Pittsford Day, so I was thinking how
Somewhere.
great it would be to incorporate that somehow into Pittsford Day, because that will be the first opening day of Covered Bridge Week.
We gotta be one of the towns with that many bridges.
Yeah, I think we're like number 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah, looks like
Linden
we
is
gotta
one.
be.
Yeah, Linden definitely has got more than
Yeah.
us, but yeah, we're right up there as having the most in the state. So that's exciting to me. I know. Yes.
Excuse me, could I
Go ahead.
add a little something to that? I think it's a great idea, but people aren't gonna know that it's covered bridge week unless there's some banner maybe along Route 7 or over Route 7. And there's a race to state highway statute that allows banners to be hung over Route 7, but they have to be above the legal truck height, and they have to have breakaway anchors. But I would think that maybe somewhere near the new bridge, if you could have a banner or something that says covered bridge week, you know, and then
And put it right on Village Green.
Yeah.
That yeah.
right on whatever, on Route 7, and say pick up flyers at the library or Amuda's and get the tour map that we can make up. So. If anybody wants that statute, they can ask me to get it for them.
I got it.
I got it.
I have it too,
Okay, good.
right here.
Yeah, no, I like that idea because you're right. I mean, all of our bridges are off the main
Off the-
road. Yep. Yeah.
So what if we bought one banner and put it on
One
Village
big
Green?
Yeah.
Plug it into the town, I don't know if it's out yet, but put it in the quarterly town report.
Yep.
Meeting.
Yeah.
So-
It's not out yet.
Newsletter.
That one will be
So-
out in July.
I know. I wonder if it would be cool if the sign was double-sided,
Hmm.
but I don't know if it is.
But
Have
if
to
it's
make your
not,
own
if you
sign.
put it, if you stake it on Village Green. so
Yeah.
that we're not worried about it hanging and
Yep.
getting into Route 7 at
Right,
all.
I don't think you wanna
Yeah,
go
that'd be
through the
great.
hassle of hanging it over Route 7.
Yep.
No.
So
Um,
one of the-
so are all these banners identical?
As far as
They'll
my
all be
understanding.
identical, okay, and I may be, so it sounds to me like they were designed to be hung on the bridges. So really, each bridge would need 2, one on each end. Well, I'm just running the numbers, I mean, I'm grumpy tonight, so I may or may not vote for this.
That's
but-
not unusual, Dave, come
Oh,
on.
well, anyway, it's been a long day. So, but I do, as scary as it is, I like Jeff's idea of a banner so that it sends people to look at them and maybe spend some money at Commuters or Keys, or it's a way to keep people in town. So he's maybe enticing me to possibly vote for this if we can figure out, because nobody's gonna know about these things. It's
Right.
not like people driving down Route 7 are gonna see our covered bridges, cause you can't see any of them.
Right.
Right.
So there's gotta be something directing them somewhere to get something to send them to the bridges and keep them in town.
Pittsford, the home of 4 covered bridges, do something like that, 'cause
Information
town, yeah.
available at the library or
one town's
something.
got kind of that many,
Well, I
especially
know.
in this
So
area.
our
Commuters
our
or-
sign coming south does say we've got you covered, right? With the picture of the covered bridge on there. It does say. I had to look through here. It does
Yeah.
say that may hang banners on their respective bridges. So yeah, I do assume that they are created with that in mind. But
We wouldn't necessarily have to put a banner on each end of the bridge, do it on the side that faces Route 7 if they're going down from Route 7.
Right.
They don't know as you need it from, coming in from Fire Hill, and that way.
Put it in the bridge.
Yeah, well,
They
on
got
the,
a sign
No,
inside
everybody-
the bridge.
No, God,
right on,
they
right on the front.
everybody would
tear
stop.
that, they tear that
It would be
Or
out.
that.
I would think you'd need
They
4
run
of
into-
those, and maybe one big banner that we maybe did ourselves, if you wanna.
For the green?
For the green. That'd be my suggestion.
I know they're
You gotta have something big
What are the
enough that they're gonna
size?
see it on the green,
10 by 2.
How about in front of the library?
or in front of the library, wherever.
I know that's a
I think the Village Green is
Corner
better
for
just
people.
because as you're driving by it, you'd
You
see it.
kinda-
When you're headed like to the library, you're just trying to make that corner
Yep.
and
Have a tour
So
map.
you're talking by the
Have
congregational church.
Yeah, tour maps.
Yes, yes.
Cause you got that.
I mean, we
curve
could
there.
even
There's
have-
also
Well, no,
more
you're
trees there,
watching
whereas
for
the-
pedestrians and
Yeah.
you aren't looking for signs there, but the
Right.
Village Green, that's,
It's more
I
open.
can live with that idea.
well, there's always signs in the library. We already use the library, the little green
Little
in front of the
ones, yeah.
library for a lot of our signs.
Run a Lathrop school, and people are stopping, waiting for the crossing guard. slowing down for the school.
Not in August. At the wrong time of the year, Jeff.
So,
Well, yeah,
Anyways,
before you vote.
Yep.
Hanging a banner over Route 7 will require an 1111 permit.
Yeah.
Right,
We're
that's why I'm not
we're
saying
even
hang in, I'm saying,
considering
You're
that.
not.
It's a very arduous process to put that banner up and put it up so that it conforms to state statute.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
what I'm
we're
saying
not.
saying if
is-
it's actually
That's not a
hung,
great idea.
like
Yeah,
hung
we're-
across the
No,
road.
I'm not-
good with that.
I'm not saying
And I gotta
hang.
tell you that Alicia's 100% correct. I did a ton of work when I had her job, before she pushed me out, on covered bridges and protecting covered bridges. And there's a lot of words in statute that protect covered bridges, but you have to do the work and the signage to protect those bridges so it protects you as a town. I have an idea for Hammond Bridge, but I just as soon talk about it, if you'll let me, after your vote on this piece here.
Sure.
But I think our covered bridges are a national treasure.
yeah, they
They're
are.
a straight treasure.
Yep.
And I think anything we can do, like Dave said, anything we can do to attract people to Pittsford to look at these treasures that we have here, we should not shortchange the process.
I know. I think we could even, I know, I'm even have like basic maps, you know, where we can have people go through
Yeah.
all 4 of them, and they could end at Hammond, where you can actually like
take pictures.
get out
Okay.
and hang out inside of it.
So maybe what we need to do is, not that you need more to do, but look into what we would need for a banner on the village green, what it would cost us to have something big enough that people can see there. It wouldn't be one of these generic ones, it would be
Some of the
ours.
winning images.
And
go with
whether,
somebody else.
right,
For $100.
and, get us numbers on that, and then whether, I don't know where we wanna direct people to get a small map. Or if we wanted a small map on the end of the banner, so people see
Yeah,
the
they
banner,
could
pull
see
up
it.
to it, and then they can figure out where stuff, I don't know, that part I don't know how we wanna do.
I wonder if Kim can do a QR code so people can pull over.
There you go,
Oh.
yes.
Smart.
So I think Ann needs to find this stuff out
Yeah.
before we even
Decide what to do.
decide what to do.
Okay, yeah, I can go see Kim, but I'm thinking there's a way that you can make a QR code to go to a certain
Just-
thing, so if we
right.
can make a map and have the
That'll give
QR
people a
code.
map on their phone,
The
that's a
state
perfect
signs, the-
idea.
Yeah,
I think we definitely would wanna get the signs the state's gonna provide on all the bridges. We wanna be in
Okay.
compliance with what they're doing, I
Yep.
would think. For that part.
See if
And
local
then still do
businesses
more.
will throw in a few bucks and that we do the flyers and they hand them out in their place of business.
You know,
Yep.
So you got all the stores, you got the Maple Museum, churches.
'cause I've already seen it on television about the bridges.
Yeah.
And it's been on several times I've seen it.
Nice.
So-
And there is gonna be an event at the State House in
Yep.
May. I'll let you know when I know the date. Okay. So, but what did you say earlier that we need, what was the time frame for the banners?
I think we have like another meeting or two before
Okay,
we have to
good,
make
then
a
let's-
decision
yeah.
on the banners.
Okay,
So let me
Put it on the
find
next
out.
meeting.
Yeah.
I'll put it back on the next meeting
all right.
agenda.
Okay.
Well, I really like the idea though, doing little maps.
So,
Having
Yeah,
access.
Well, maps
that'd be
Yeah,
neat.
sorry, before we move on from,
so while you're on the topic of covered bridges, and I kind of ran this real quickly by Ann when she was in the process of trying to figure out what she was doing for her next job. But I'm a real fan of covered bridges, and done a lot of work in Montpelier to help save our covered bridges back in the day. But I look at Hammond Bridge as an example. Many of the don't drive the truck route every day, or 5 times a day, like some days I do. It's unbelievable the number of people that stop at
Oh, yeah.
Hammond
Oh, and
Bridge.
look at
All the
that,
time.
oh, yeah.
Look at that bridge.
And take
Yeah.
pictures, I see
I
it all
think,
the
I
time.
think that deserves more respect than the respect that it's getting from the state. It's owned by historic preservation, the bridges, and the land around it is owned by historic preservation. I have a vision that the town, if you're, but I don't want to go off on my own, because there's no sense of wasting my time or your energy or your money, on thinking about Hammond Bridge as a stop that we could enhance with some simple things like, first of all, taking the Jersey barriers down, making a decent parking spot with some material, keeping it mowed, keeping the brush away from it.
Yeah.
And it already has a historical marker in front of it, but also do an interactive plaque at the bridge that gives you a map of all the bridges in Pittsford with maybe some, as you talked about, maybe some paper maps to get them from bridge to bridge to bridge and get them to the stores and get them to, I have no idea on the cost, but if you think it's a good idea, and I don't think you need to take a formal vote, I would be willing to talk to Laura Treshman from Historic Preservation and see if that bridge would be eligible for a grant to do this. And I think it would be under Historic Preservation. I think the bridge, and all of our bridges deserve the respect that they some days don't get.
I know.
And
Yep, I would agree with that. The only thing I'm thinking, I like Ann's QR code.
Yep.
However, and maybe we can get some of our businesses in town, so when that QR code comes up, the map is there, but there's also a list of our businesses in
Yeah.
town.
you could sell it, maybe, it's an idea, it's just an idea, and I'll throw it out in public here. Maybe it's an idea we could get the businesses to help us sponsor that particular.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If the QR code comes up with the map
Yeah.
and lists the businesses that
Absolutely.
sponsored,
Absolutely.
Keys,
I don't-
are you hungry? Go to
Yeah,
Keys or
yeah.
Kamuta's or whatever.
Dave, I don't think I'm far off in having the public receptive to this, just because of the number of people that are at that bridge. Not only stop for the bridge, but they stop for the train.
Yeah,
The number
yeah.
of people stop to take pictures of the Amtrak coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Or the
Yeah.
train that you can actually see because it's not flying through so fast.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's something that it would be okay for Ann to pursue with my help.
Yes,
Definitely.
please.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, I have no problem with that.
I'm not trying to make, I'm willing to take the load in.
Well, let me know if I can do anything as well, because
Oh,
you
you know
know I
people.
love the covered bridges.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do that. We'll see what happens. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah,
Well, no, but I think it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
and this is a good time to start it with
Yeah,
this
with this
thing that
going
the
on,
state's
yeah,
doing.
perfect, perfect.
Yeah, this ties into some other bigger ideas. I don't know if it's a bigger idea, but a longer standing idea of like having, because we don't really have like a chamber of commerce for Pittsford, but like having just maps in general that do list all the list the businesses.
We need a big map.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
we're spread
I
out
know.
businesses.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
And
yeah.
again, how many people use maps? They use this.
Well, that's why I'm saying if you
So
do a
it needs-
QR
I use a
code.
paper map.
Well, no, I still use, but I'm thinking anybody under 60 is using
Yeah, you're right.
these.
QR
Listen,
codes.
I'm under 60. I use a paper map.
I mean, a lot of the new restaurants that are coming out, like Rick and I
Your
went.
restaurant, or your menu's on that.
They have the QR codes.
Which I hate.
Me too, going back to the blind thing.
Well, but that was a COVID thing
young-
because they didn't want you handling.
But the younger generation all love QR codes and they know exactly what to do.
Well, no, I'm not, I just think I think there's a place for both, I
There
guess is
is.
what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying,
definitely agree, but I
Definitely.
think if we can get both,
Yeah,
have
I
a
hope you
QR
don't.
code and maps both
Sure.
Good
available.
place, Maple Museum's a spot.
Sure.
That's where you get
Right.
people like that, you know.
Yeah, and I think,
They get bus tours in there.
I think
and
it'd be a broader
Yeah.
range of people you'd hit by having both QR and maps.
Probably, but I still think you're gonna hit, it's gonna be 75% here, 25% map.
stuff.
you may be true,
He deals with
or you may be
people
right, I
every
mean,
day.
yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Teaching over there, yeah.
Cool, well, that was, look, we got exciting things to
Yeah.
contribute to that, we'll have
Yeah.
to keep talking.
Changed
about
my mind on how I was gonna vote on the banner.
Come on,
Phew.
Scrooge.
Yeah,
Come on, Scrooge.
I'm still looking back at the body camera.
Okay, Rutland Regional Planning Commission Emergency Mutual Aid Agreement, that paperwork needs to be
Signed.
It
signed.
needs to be signed, and I didn't know if you sign it as select board chair, or if I sign it as interim town manager, or if we're both supposed to sign it.
Let's just both sign it so we got all our bases covered.
Okay, cause it's a kind of,
No, I think the
I know,
town
I don't-
manager, but you can sign it too. That way you covered,
Yeah, that way you don't
Oh.
have to come back and find me or
You need a
in case,
pen.
you know.
here,
Well,
I
have-
got one.
Well, you have a pen, okay.
I only use the G207.
G207.
it's a very specific
Yeah, they're good
pen.
pens. They're free.
Mine is a very specific pen tonight too. You'll notice.
Mine writes upside down.
So I just wanted clarification on that because I hadn't dealt with the
Yep.
RRPC. And then, I think Dave Mills answered my other question before on who gets put on this sheet.
Okay,
Before
all
the
right.
meeting, cause I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Who got put on it, so.
Want to send that around to sign when we
When we do
Sign
the other,
everything
sign
else?
everything else.
Yep.
It was just, I wanted clarification so I didn't screw something up and have to
Yeah.
redo it again.
Okay.
Well,
All right. That was it for that, right?
Yep.
All right. Restructuring of offices in the town office.
So,
This is plural.
since our previous town manager's departure, I moved to his office. I don't like it. I don't like being down the hall, away from being able to see who's coming in the doors. I can't see the parking lot, I'm too short. I can't. And I can't hear Helen, and Helen can't hear me. And sometimes we're the only two left in the building.
Yep.
In the afternoons. I would like to switch offices, and at the same time I was thinking about this, the assessors came to me and said that they're really struggling in their office. So I asked, would you want to move? And Karen happily jumped on that idea. She would really like that. It would be a little quieter for her down on this end.
Sure.
They'd have less interruptions with people not. So what we were thinking of, and I have talked to Helen about this, and Helen really likes the idea because I'd be closer if something was to happen to her, or if something was to happen to me, we could hear each other. I would take the office where zoning and assessors are. It'd be my office, but it'd also be a small conference room, so that if we're having a smaller meeting with anyone, if I'm meeting with department heads or whatever, we're not being interrupted by people coming in and out, going to the photocopier, going to the basement, whatever. Assessors would take what is now the town manager's office. Zoning would take what used to be my office as assistant to the town manager for now.
Is that big enough for them?
It is, we measured.
Is it?
Their filing cabinets exactly fit behind the door where the town manager's filing cabinets used to be. Dave Atherton's desk would stay there, and Karen would take that desk. We'd move one of the desks from that there. And Karen said she thinks she can fit in the third desk for when we have to do reappraisals in that room as well. She thought about it overnight, Thursday night to Friday morning, and emailed me, and she's like, can I keep that desk that's in there? She's like, it'd be great workspace for me, and I think I've got it figured out where everything would fit in that office.
Yeah.
So,
that's what works for everyone.
It would also put all of the full-timers on that end of the building, so we're all more easily accessible to the public.
That makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure it made sense to everybody.
Yeah. That's your under your purview, anywho.
It's not gonna cost us
Yeah.
money, we have all the furniture. A bunch of us are probably gonna come in on a Saturday and do most of it,
Okay.
because we wanna do it when there's not public here. Some of the
Yeah.
filing cabinets and stuff will probably move into the conference room Friday morning. Highway will move some of the filing cabinets for us, cause that's the heaviest part, and us women don't, my knees and Karen's back do not wanna do filing cabinets.
No.
But other than that, it should be able to be moved on our own.
Okay.
And the guys have said they're willing to take down the signs and scrape the windows. And for now, we're not gonna put anything back on the windows, we're just gonna use the signs above the doors.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I don't. That was just like slide out to move to eat. Like yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
No problem with that.
Sounds good to me.
Do it.
Okay. All right. Let's go into the long-awaited audit.
So we got our audit finally from RHR. Their only recommendation was that if we have checks that have not been cashed that are greater than 6 months old, that we reach out and find out if we need to reissue the checks, or if we need to send the money to the state for the funds there, the missing people,
Oh yeah.
uncollected funds.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Collecting folks.
That
So
was,
do we have a lot of? Do we have a lot of uncashed checks?
there were 4, I think, there wasn't a
Oh.
lot.
That seems though like who's
Yeah,
not
who-
cashing checks?
But, one of them, we don't know what happened to it, so we've reissued it, and then the rest of them have been handled, as far
Okay.
as I know, but that was their only concern. They do have a letter in there that the town needs to sign. It was supposed to be Dave Atherton and myself. I'd like to recommend that Alicia and I both sign it, her as the chair of the select board, me as interim. I am listed in the letter as well as Dave Atherton, but for 2 signatures, that's my recommendation, is that we use Alicia and myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm guessing that audit was in our packet, because I
No, it was not.
No, it
No,
was
it's on
not.
the table
I-
I
tonight.
just got it
I
tonight.
got it this afternoon at about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I have a copy here for you.
Did they give us?
I'd like to review it if possible.
Yep, I can email it to you if you'd like, Mark.
Any,
Yeah, Ryan picked it up when I get back in town.
Yep, I have it for you.
any
I
other
think
highlights of
Last week I
that?
asked Ann to call up there, cause we still didn't had the report, and I think she called up there, last Wednesday or Thursday?
I emailed,
Or emailed them.
And I
I
emailed
said, we
again
need
this
that damn report,
I emailed them again this
not in another
morning.
month.
Right.
So, yeah, not happy the way it ended up.
And did they give us a grade? I remember the other
I don't,
auditing company used to give us like a grade.
I didn't see a
That was
grade
just
on
their own
there.
thing?
A lot of your auditing standards have changed in the last 2 years too.
Okay.
Through GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. There've been several different changes and there have been more regulations, and Samantha Ruggles is who I've been dealing with a lot for this year's audit. And she actually sent us all of the changes that the audit firms had to go through this year in order to be able to continue to do auditing. They have a lot more, reports and such they have to fill out as well, and they're being overseen a lot, or scrutinized a lot more as
Yeah.
auditing firms.
But overall, it looked good, right?
Overall, I didn't see anything, that was their only recommendation in their letter. The financials all looked good, they looked right to me.
Okay, good.
So I've told them I would like 7 spiral bound copies, 1 for each select board member, 1 for myself, and 1 for Helen.
That would be great, yeah. I know I
And
have
that's
mine
part
from
of the
last
letter that we're
however many
signing.
years. Okay. And then what is it that we need, so the letter?
The letter is the one that I'm recommending.
That's
that
just,
you and
okay.
I sign.
Okay,
And-
gotcha. I thought, I wasn't sure if that was.
Yep, nope, that's the letter.
All right.
Is that letter accepting the report?
That letter is, it's basically the town has done their due diligence to do the work so that the audit is correct. I can send it to you, it's 5 pages long, so I don't really wanna read the whole thing. It tells them what we've provided, what government specific, we haven't had communications from regulatory agencies that were non-compliant. We are not aware of any pending or threatening litigation claims or assessments or unassessed claims or assessments that are required to be accrued or disclosed in the financial statements.
You can send it to me, and I just wanna read through it.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. I have a copy for you here too, but I will, it's all in one email, so I'm just gonna forward that email to you.
They are, I can pick them up when I get back in town.
Okay.
And then, okay, so, and now we do have a planning commission vacancy.
Yes,
You wanna do that too? No, just
tonight,
Let's take your arm
How
out.
busy are you?
Jim, reach over and raise Butch's now, would you?
yes, this week we received Mark Pape's resignation, which I handed to you
Yep.
all tonight.
Yep.
So we
Yeah.
do have a planning commission vacancy at this time.
Okay.
We have an alternate, correct?
We have an alternate, and I talked to Rick Conway, he was gonna go see the alternate and see if he was willing to
Okay.
Step up.
step up.
Okay.
But then we will need an alternate if we can find somebody that's interested in.
Right, so we're waiting, pending what the answer is of the current alternate, we'll know to put out whether we're looking for another
member.
alternate or a full
Right.
voting member.
And I will let you know, but
Or
I,
both.
We're both,
Because
actually,
if
I
the
know.
alternate
Yes.
doesn't wanna be a member,
No,
then he
you're
probably
right.
doesn't wanna be an alternate either.
Right, good point. Okay, cool.
Or she, I'm not sure who it is.
Right. All right, so I guess the final would be, any issues on orders?
I didn't see
Nope, I
anything.
didn't have anything.
No? All right, we can start signing, everybody's content.
so this one is just Alicia.
That's just you.
This one's just
Thank you.
Alicia.
So I did see, so we had just bought quite a bit of salt, so
Yeah.
we're
We're
good.
good.
We're very, very good because as soon as it all came, it stopped snowing.
No, I know, it's just
Yeah,
that, I don't know what the deal
But
is.
April's not
This is
over.
fall
No.
spring. This is fall spring, and I keep
No,
reminding everybody
listen,
of that.
Hush your
Yeah.
face.
It's not full spring yet.
I just was confused because I was hearing about other towns in
And then
Vermont
this
that
one's
couldn't get salt. So how could they not get salt, but we could? Is it just based on who have your contract with?
It came in, didn't it?
It came in.
just came in.
It came
They were
in for
having trouble
everybody.
with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cause a couple weekends ago when I was in Maine, there was a
Yeah.
freighter there for, I
Yeah.
don't know how many days unloading. So
Oh, okay.
it's
It was a-
coming in.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's where ours comes from.
Ours comes
I-
from Albany, I think, a lot of
Am I
times.
signing right there?
And I'll sign under.
That's just a pass along. That was it. Oh.
That one she's signing is just her. And that one's just her.
So next year in the town report, because it looks like GF, the way she signs Alicia, I think she needs to be in the town report, GF Malay.
You think that, wait, do you think it
It looks like GF to me.
That's AL, it's my first two initials.
It looks like GF.
We'll just all go by initials next year, just to
There
make
you
you feel
go.
better.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, if there's nothing further, then if I could have a vote to go into executive session in accordance with 1 V.S.A. 313A, where premature general public knowledge would clearly place the municipality or person involved at a substantial disadvantage to discuss contracts. 1 V.S.A. 313A1A to include the interim town manager.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.